So we're debating in the chat room first whether this is Isadella, but then the chat has gone to whether Isadella is an actual entity or not. And Les Watling says it might someday be synonymized with a Canella. And Jason Chater pointed out that you can see where the wall has a fresher surface, which may be why this is attached here. Otherwise, it doesn't look like a great place to live in terms of substrate strength. And I was thinking that same thing. It looks really pliable or crumbly, and hard to imagine that a coral that's this large could hang on there and not just have this base detach from the wall.
All right, thanks, video. We'll keep going up.
That's full wide pilot.
And by the way, scientists in the chat room and anybody else, we have plenty of time, it looks like, to make it through our dive track. So if there are things you want me to suggest to snap zoom on, like maybe this Chrysogorgia that we're coming up on here, we should have time for that. Or maybe some of the geology.
Snap on it if you want it. Quite a few associates here.
This one seems to have a lot of associates, including a very large anemone at its base with brittle stars on the anemone. That's funny that the outside of the anemone is kind of warty, has little projections. And then the Chrysogorgia itself has another anemone and more of those brittle stars. And then Jason said that there is a hint of faint layering that we can see in the rock with color change. Now, little tiny sea urchin.
Getting closer, video.
Oh, and we made the anemone close up. Yeah, and Scott said it looks like some fauna are desperate for a perch spot around here. And they're all making use of whatever they can find.
All set, pilot.
All right. Thanks, video. Keep moving.
Another Anthomastus red octocoral on the left. And that looks like a Paramaricea maybe coming up here, the yellow octocoral coming center. And it looks like it might have a brittle star associate. Oh, there's two. Oh, there's two, yeah. One down, one up.
I'll try the fog lights.
Kind of interesting that this one is facing straight down. Because usually on these walls,
yeah.
they
I'm gonna try the other lights if that's okay, video.
Oh, parallel.
You would think it would be 90 degrees from what it is.
Yeah, so that they could get the oncoming current flow, but
maybe it was, but the brittle stars are weighing it down.
Do you like those
Just
lights,
kidding.
video? Or
Seem to have a little bit of an overhang above you.
I really do
Not
like
too
this
much,
color.
just be cautious.
it is nice.
Okay, thanks.
And then with
Yeah,
the
I'll back up.
contrasting color of the brittle star,
Before coming up.
quite pleasant.
Yeah, it's not a very good angle on that one. You can turn those
And then the
lower
like
lights back off.
little blue
You want me to
dots,
zoom you in on sonar?
sponges every
Yeah.
once in a while.
We have another one of the same species on
Yeah,
the
that's
right.
such an interesting color
Okay.
for that encrusting sponge, that blue one.
wanna
We've
zoom
seen
in on
that in many
sonar?
dives
right
now.
there.
I think 30 is
At
okay.
30, okay.
That's all
And
right.
here we have another Paramaricea with the Astroshima brittle starfish that looks like snake arms, kind of.
It's interesting viewing them both and going back to what you were saying about the one on the left being in a strange orientation.
Yeah.
But maybe the
Yeah.
water
Yeah.
is flowing, since there's like a little drop right there, maybe the water somehow is flowing differently
grab
that
it
way
and do
Yeah.
that.
over there.
I'm gonna try to get this one from the side a little bit, video, so that way you can see some of the fan. All right, come in.
Since we had a lunch switch over, should we have the front row introduce themselves?
Oh, sure.
And the side row and the back row.
Yeah, so sitting in the front row, piloting the ROV is Levi Unima, and to my left,
This is the ROV navigator, Andy O'Brien.
And to his right, over in co-pilot, is Andy Lister, and to my right,
Bob Knott on video.
And in the back on video clipping, I'm Emily Narrow, and we're all with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration.
And in the back row,
Hey, this is Stephanie Bush. I work at the Smithsonian Institution National Museum of Natural History.
yeah, not a very good angle on this
and
one,
I'm
Bob.
Cheryl
Sorry.
Morrison
Oh,
from the
we'll
U.S.
keep moving.
Geological Survey,
Yeah,
Leetown
thanks.
Science Center, and I'm the
bunch
biology
of lasers
lead.
on or off for flight.
Could we get lasers real quick before we leave here? I'm sorry. I wanted to
There we
just
go.
get a sizing
Yeah.
if we could.
No problem.
It's kind of tiny.
Kinda.
And it's hard to believe that this is our last dive on this expedition. It's been a very informative and fun expedition. Lots of different types of sites that we've visited. And it's been a pleasure working with this ROV team here and the video team as well.
Coming up slowly, co-pilot.
Copy that. Still got you a delta of about 6.
Mm-hmm.
Take a peek to the south.
Eventually, I'll need to cheat back to the north because I am
Wow,
turned.
talk about a steep wall. And still some brittle stars hanging on there.
Oh, look to the
That's
north.
pretty amazing. And the Brisingid sea stars are the orange, larger ones. And this pink light color. And they are probably in the Frelaid group of Brisinges. We had Chris Ma tell us about those. Pilots, this is watch one.
Go ahead.
Chris. Jason Chater was wondering if we could lateral left again the length of the tether, just kind of look down and then come back up.
Sure.
Great, thanks. So Jason said we're seeing fractures here.
I'll go a little further.
He's got a little bit. Not too much, though.
All right, watch. Say this is looking south. Do you need to move further south than this? Because then we would have to move the ship. I can go a little bit further, but
I think the idea was not moving the ship, right, Leslie?
Yeah, that's what we had thought earlier, so.
understood. This is looking. I can go a little bit further than this, but not much. This is looking as far south as we can without moving the ship. Is this the view that you guys wanted? and looking down, you said?
Yeah, that's really good. Wow.
And coming back up. Okay. Did you need any more views south, or would you like us to keep moving?
I think we're okay. We're waiting to hear from Jason if he wants to go a little further.
Understood.
Yep, he said that's
Hello, pilot.
that's good.
Understood. I'll come back to where Sirius is, and then we can go uphill.
Sounds great.
Navigator, what was the bearing of the last move?
270.
270.
Interesting
Okay.
face there.
And then we're not moving, correct?
Correct.
Snapper
I
blanket
took a peek
cutthroat
to the
eel.
south.
Yep.
So I'm gonna come back to you, and then we'll go up.
Okay, sounds good.
And so those dark places are fresh.
Coming around to 270.
Hard to. I was going to ask to zoom, but we were turning, so. Bob Carney said they look like columnar fractures. Yeah, I was thinking that
Come
too.
up a little bit.
Don't expect that that's what they are, but it's pretty reminiscent of it. This view, you see more of the planar fractures.
Okay, that's 270.
All right. I'll center up with you, and then we'll go up.
Copy.
Little bit of layer exposed up there on the face.
All right.
It's interesting how different this wall is compared to the ones that we saw at the Blake Escarpment edge. The rocks were a little harder, and so we saw a lot more biota clinging to them. These, you can see how crumbly this particular portion of the wall is. Can we do a quick zoom on the rubbly area?
Yeah. Come in partial.
Just want to. Yeah, looks like little finer layers. That's good, thanks.
Understood. Next video.
And actually, Jason Chater suggested that this would be a good scoop sample. Problem with our scoop samples is that they have to go into a bio box. So that would have to be something that could include some biological sampling. So let's keep an eye out for if there's a biologic sample you guys would want to take.
Or since this is a geology dive, maybe
Or
we
I was
should
going to say,
sacrifice.
or sacrifice one to a scoop.
We could definitely do that.
Yeah, just let us know what you'd like to scoop, and we can surely do that.
We could get an urchin over here on the right. That would be worthwhile.
Yeah, because we don't know what that urchin is.
Yeah.
Or nobody's identified it yet. Yeah, let's see if we can do
different than
that.
we've seen in other places.
And maybe that rock fragment.
Is this the larger urchin was the one of interest? Is that correct? I'll zoom
Yeah.
to verify, but you can come in video.
We'll have to remember that's in the box.
Yeah.
Not just reach in and grab it.
Yeah, getting poked for sure.
Yep.
All right, video come out. All right, watch it. So, would you like a scoop of the sediment or the rocks there on the left and the urchin, if possible? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, so we're thinking the scoop first and then come back and put the urchin on top.
Understood.
Great, thanks.
All right, Copilot, can you hit my joy lock button? Thanks.
Joy lock engaged. You're ready to go, pilot. We have the starboard side completely full, so you gotta go to the port side.
Okay. You get Mini Zeus on the right monitor. Yeah, bring that down. You got hydraulics up, you said?
Yeah, everything's ready.
All right. Go ahead, watch Lee. Okay. Can you wing, starboard wing inboard? Just so I get it in the view of the Zeus. And then can you come out on Zeus? I think I might already be all the way out on Zeus, but there we go. So I have another eye on it, just so you can see the full scoop and then you can stop it. That's good. Yeah. All right. What out of here? Zoom in on Zeus, partial. And Mini Zeus, actually. They seem pretty soft. Some of these. All right, watch. Is that a good sediment sample? Or they look like rocks, but when I move through them, they kind of crumble like softer.
Yeah, no, we definitely expect them to crumble, but we'll put it in the bio box.
Understood.
And then we'll retrieve that sea urchin too as well, please.
All right.
Okay, I'm ready to extend the drawer
You
whenever.
can zoom out on cameras. And yeah, you can go and try to extend, but be wary of the in front of the left toe.
Okay.
Might not be able to extend all the way. That's good. Mini just down. Yeah. I think I can just
Are you sure?
dump it in there.
I
Yeah.
could try to extend a little bit more.
I think it's pushing me away from the wall, so I don't want to
Okay.
torque the drawer anymore than we already are.
That's looking pretty good.
We got a brittle star. I think it will all just be a muddy mess when we bring it up. Hopefully some of those pieces will stay intact. That is definitely sticking to the scoop.
Yeah, the brittle star is hanging on for dear life.
Is it on the scoop or on the in the box?
On the scoop. Front lip of the scoop.
I think
Oh,
I
really?
saw one go in the box. There may have been more.
You can zoom in on Manizus if you'd like.
It's right there holding on.
Is it? Or is that scum?
Well, it could be scum.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, I think I
Come
saw
on.
one
Yep.
fall in.
All right, watch. Did you want me to scoop the?
Yeah, please.
You could draw in. Actually, leave it out for a second.
Mini Zeus in, pilot.
Yes, please. Thanks.
Nice.
Zoom out. It'll go.
There we go. Yeah.
You have to draw all the way in?
Yep.
Yeah.
All the way in.
Great, and that was specimen 03 Geo.
Great work, pilot.
Thanks. You could wing out, starboard wing outboard if you'd like. We had it in so I could get the scoop out.
Copy that.
And we just finished a collection of some rubble and sediment and a white urchin, and we're at 1,827 meters.
You could take your camera back if you wanted it.
Okay, let me just center you up real quick.
Thanks.
Actually, do you need me to look above you anymore? Or is it, it looks like it kind of flattened out, huh?
Yeah, it's not as steep here, so.
Toes or above? Your choice.
Toes.
Okay.
Thanks. There's a fish up here I'm going to try to grab.
Another synapobranchid eel. We've seen them do this often when they have camera lights on them.
Oh, yeah,
they
something
shake
in his mouth.
head. Oh yeah. Well, maybe this is different than
Snap.
shaking his head because of the
And
lights of the ROV.
He's
Yeah.
got a fish.
If you need me to take camera, let me know.
Trying to figure out how to swallow it, I guess. Is
Belly art looks
Getting
pretty
it.
full.
yeah.
He's got the whole fish. You can see
Yeah.
the. Oh, he did it.
It's gone.
Nice.
Good job.
all right, we'll let it go video. Yeah, next time I'll just let you take my rotator.
Okay. Just let me know.
Yeah.
Did we move again since I was gone?
No.
We just went up?
Yeah, we just went up a little bit and stopped.
Oh, wow.
Simple.
Really changed. We could think about getting me another move in here then in a little bit if
Yeah.
it continues. Actually, now.
Yeah, I think so too.
10 meters?
Yeah.
I'll get with Nav after he's done talking.
Okay. I go grab this.
This
sponge.
looks like the yellow
Perfect.
sponge we were observing further down, deeper.
It's interesting how the walls are vertical right here and sloped below and sloped above. Those are different
What are you trying to do,
layers
Nav?
of these
mind.
muds. Maybe the percentage of clay content that makes their variability and resistance. Clay-sized particles typically are cohesive. They're a little stickier, making erosion a little more difficult.
This dark stick.
And so you'd see this more vertical kind of
Right
wall
there? Yeah.
instead of
More-
the sloping areas that
Oh, okay.
have rubble on top.
Oh, come in on the. Right.
Ooh, is this one of those worms
head is
just
to the
extended?
left.
Yeah, it is. Look at the top of it. Wow, that's a long one.
Hey, Nav, when you get a moment, can you get us a move too?
That's a
when you're
great
done with
close-up.
Yeah,
everything.
that's another one of those echiurine worms that we saw earlier, but this is the end of its proboscis.
Just a 10 meter in my current heading, 265.
Can you rotate me down, Andy?
Yep, I got you.
Let's follow this green thing.
It's a very pretty color.
Green
It
thing.
is, it is.
Nice and slow
Maybe
here.
we'll get him to
Pretty long, you can-
retract.
Yeah.
Little tube for sediment and
Is it moving?
food particles.
This one isn't as delicate as that one, it looks like. Camera movement.
Wow, that is a long one. Look how long it is.
So wow, you can see it's using this like a little chute to
Isn't that funny?
get a whole bunch of particles
it
down
just
to
keeps
its
going.
mouth. The spoon part of the spoon worm.
Zoom out partial. A little bit. Still, so you can see the end of it.
It just keeps
What?
going.
You've got to be
Oh,
kidding me.
if the hidden's hidden.
Wow.
No good.
You can zoom out.
Longest tongue ever. Or proboscis.
That's the tongue.
That's actually the proboscis.
Taking it
Yeah,
back.
that's about half
Yep.
a meter in length.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the line of the day.
You got a little bit, but your lower swing arm there. Got a little bit, though.
Understood. Video, you can come in on this sponge for a second. While we wait for
Oh,
the...
there
Oh,
goes.
there goes the proboscis. Back down into the hole, wherever it is.
retreat. Turn lasers off if you'd like.
Thank you, Nav. Let me know if you'd like me to stow that arm, too, if you need a better
Yeah,
angle
you
or
could,
something.
you can stow it in a little bit if you'd like. Thanks.
And Scott France said again that the tongue or the spoon that we saw of that worm is never
bring it back out in a
internalized.
second.
It can't be brought into the body. It simply is contracted to get shorter. I'd love to see it retracted. That must have been a wide, contracted body, though, because
Right.
that was a long
Thanks, video.
tongue.
Pilots.
Going wide.
Sounds good. All right. Gotta move in. Start moving in a couple minutes.
Deploying lower again.
Okay.
Is that a little tiny sea star on
That's
the
too
rock?
far.
Just
Oh, yeah. We'll get closer video and then I'll let you see. Yeah. Hold on. All right, come in video. Just a little guy.
He almost looks like those mud stars, but
Yeah, it does look like that.
Sorry, video. Foot slipping a little bit.
hard to tell if those 2 feet are pointed or almost looks like they're brush-like.
You can come back in now. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah, you can take my rotator. Track this puppy. All right. I think I'm stable here, video, if you want to take any additional zoom.
That's my max.
Oh, it's super small, huh?
Yep.
It is tiny.
Okay, we've got
All
what we
right.
can get.
Yeah. Thanks, video. Super small.
You have control of it again.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to look
No.
left.
Okay. Copy that.
That just looks like it would fall down. That all of those, all that rubble.
mm-hmm. I wonder if these rocks are or if they are stiffer than the one we attempted.
Copy that.
Hey, this is Chris Ma.
Hi, Chris.
Hello again. So what you were just looking at is another classic sort of deep-sea critter, one of the starfish that's found a lot in these kinds of settings. That is a benthopectinid.
Our DC
This is one of those animals that
1300.
we
Is
have
that
lots of,
happening?
but we don't know anything about them. And that's always kind of intriguing because, that always begs the question, well, what are they doing down there in such abundance that we don't understand? When these are brought up in trawls, they sometimes occur by the hundreds. And I think that one in particular is in the genus Chiraster, Cheiraster. But again, we don't know a lot about them, and they're very similar to the ones that you saw the other day. The mud stars.
Yeah, the mud stars.
They were actually,
Yeah, the mud stars. Which we were thinking that at least superficially they looked similar.
Lasers on or off?
Yeah, and
still don't know.
And in fact, that's very perceptive of you because although they were considered in their own order for many decades, the molecular work I just did with some colleagues a few years ago showed they were actually members of the Paxillosida. So we should have just asked you, and we could have figured all that out years ago. So.
No, I doubt that.
The resemblance had been seen for many years. It's just one of those things, Anyway, thank you, and I will be watching closely.
Great. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Oh, and just a quick note, that pythonaster that you guys saw earlier on today, the white one, those are actually really rare. Go ahead, there are very few of those known in collections, and even though I'm pretty sure I know which one that is, which species it is, there are very few of them known. I mean, there are literally less than maybe
video so I can see my toe.
Like a dozen of those known in the world, and I think Okeanos has collected half of them.
Wow. Great.
Yes. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Bye.
And we're going to settle down here for a second and do another rock test. We're using the manipulator arms to see how friable these rocks are if they just crumble. We certainly can't collect them, but that consistency gives us some information. We're quite a bit higher on the wall, so these would presumably be significantly younger rocks than the ones we tested earlier.
All right, go by if you get my
Although I guess we haven't tested any in the wall.
No,
we were at the rubble, so we don't know. Actually, I take that back. But
are you going to use the arm or
the arm? Yeah, I'll squeeze it.
Be great if these were solidified enough so that we could actually bring a sample home. We're hoping that these more angular rocks are a little tougher since they haven't crumbled when they broke from their original location. But we will see.
Bring minis on the right monitor.
And can we get the lasers on too, please? Thanks.
So yeah, that's crumbly one there. Could try this.
Your grip force,
6.
Okay. Wow. I just split right through it.
Yeah. Try this one here. Yeah.
Well, now we know.
Try one more.
All right.
Crumbly.
That's important information.
Friable.
You got stuff stuck in your fingers if you might want to play. There you go. Well, I might just have to stay there.
Get a toothpick.
Yeah.
The handle of the scoop.
We'll see. It'll be all right.
Stored? You good?
Yeah. All right. Keep moving here. Get out of this dust field. Watch these. Do you want to continue to look south? We can look a little bit further if you'd like, or we can continue up.
I guess if we're going to be in the cloud, it might be better to.
Yeah, let's just keep going up. I think
up.
this looks pretty similar along here.
Understood.
Great, thank you.
You want your lasers off?
Yeah, you can turn them off. Thanks.
And that's one of those pretty anemones that we were seeing further downslope, isn't it?
Good snap it if you want a video.
Those are very deceptive rocks, aren't they?
Yeah.
They look like it would almost cut your hand.
Yeah, they so
the edges are so
angular.
sharp.
Yeah.
Curses. Jason points out a positive spin on this is that there are less samples to work with after the dive. This is true. But I'd be happy to have another rock to play with today to send off to the archives. But yeah, these would not thin section very well. In fact, there's really only one rock we've collected that really, maybe two, that'll be thin sectionable without some epoxy between the grains first.
Onward, upward.
And Tina said that that's Actinurus, and also Scott France, that genus of anemone that we were just looking at. And Tina says that it is recognizable because of the white lobes.
When was that last move called in?
It's very beautiful anemone.
Okay. Okay, I'm okay with another one if you are pilot.
Yeah.
Great.
Almost looks like cinder blocks laying there. They're so squared
Little
off.
bricks.
Thanks, Nav.
Take a peek out to the north real quick.
That sure is steep.
How long do those moves take at that speed? 10 minutes or so? 5 minutes? 5 minutes, copy.
Take a slightly steeper features coming up here.
Hard to believe it could get steeper, but I think it's going to. So what kind of forces would make the newly crumbling stuff give way? Would it be like storms or just a current or?
Well, there is some bioerosion going on, and that would loosen any areas, but just the compaction, there's some areas that have cleaved away, sort of mini faults. So, who knows, settling the weight from overlying sediments. These areas don't look very scoured from currents as much, but I don't know, maybe Jason can give better insight onto that. I think gravity is sort of the leading candidate, but what actually causes the ledges to break. Earlier we saw the undermining of from erosion, and that led to overhanging ledges, and then they broke off. We saw that along the shelf edge area, but we don't see so much of that erosion beneath. Ooh, that is a beautiful Chrysogorgia.
Yeah, and I think I see a Bathypathes black coral maybe off in the distance. Yeah, just on the left-hand side.
On to find it.
But yeah,
it's a great view of the Chrysogorgia's base, too.
That looks much more healthy than some that we've seen.
I'll get a zoom of the Chrysogorgia, and then once the ship moves a little further, I think I can reach the black coral.
Wonderful. Thank you, pilots.
You can take my rotator.
And there's another coral straight up from this, too.
Chrysogorgia.
A sponge on the right,
big,
too.
pink, fluffy thing.
Yeah. Come in, video partial.
Look how it has spread out at the base to hold on to that surface.
Yeah.
Go by, you can work with video to move the rotator and zoom in if you'd like.
All right.
Alright, just going on a little bit.
Tiny little urchin.
Yeah, this
What's that video?
on the upper part, I think there's some associates, commensals.
Okay. If you'd like to zoom, I can tilt up and down.
Let's go up to the top.
Go ahead. Or do you mean the top of the...
Yeah, the top of the...
Not the end, but the top.
Okay.
I think my right toe put a little bit of sediment in the air. Sorry, video. This guy has a lot of polyps.
We're still looking at that top edge, correct, video?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that in there?
Yeah, chemical alteration. Jason Chater contributed chemical alteration along the fractures and much less frequency, sometimes earthquakes.
Yeah.
Gentle shaking can play a role in initiating these fractures. I did million years ago and grew. Of course, that margin, the continental margin, was young in the early stages, and through time began to accumulate sediments as the seafloor spreading center, the ridge itself, was farther and farther away. And the margin accumulated sediments from the terrestrial environment and built seaward the large continental margin. And we've been, last few days, exploring the edge of the continental shelf. We are now far off of that along the slope area, and this is a remnant of that slope structure. And so
it's all set.
What Jason was saying about the underscoring the magnitudes of these earthquakes being very small and not easy to detect from the land.
Because we're coming up and it's going away.
But we do have them. If we were on an active continental margin, then we would definitely note them. And all those large earthquakes you've heard of in the Pacific Basin have been at convergent plate boundaries that we also call active margins.
What's this blue thing?
So very different setting, but still affected by Earth movements.
Looks like a pin.
Just on a smaller scale.
Yes, please. What is that?
Oh, a comb.
It's a toothbrush.
Oral B.
Oral B.
No way. That's.
Did someone lose their toothbrush last night?
What?
Wow.
Standard issue toothbrush there.
I don't think we've seen one of those yet.
Blue color.
It's like an advertisement.
The wall looks pretty cool in serious view.
It looks like a canyon.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check out Stream 2.
Oh my gosh,
Wow,
look at that.
look at
That's
that.
beautiful.
It looks really cool in the Sirius view on Stream 2 if anybody wants to switch to that real quick.
Wow.
Hey, can I turn off my lights for a second?
Sure.
Just for a second?
Yeah.
I'll just turn off the screen instead. Great. Just want to see what it looks like. Ooh.
So the base of that feature is about 1,807 meters.
Try to look off to the north here. Can you pull out the darks video? Try to.
Yeah, and we definitely would like to move laterally along this.
All right. So yeah, we'll acquire this and then move south. Oh, yeah. Snap-on fish.
Look like one of the cusk eels, maybe?
That does bring it out.
He said yes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Check out Stream 2 now video.
Yeah.
All right, come back on.
So we will move
See the back scale.
laterally
Nice
along
lights.
this rock face, or hesitate to call it rock because it's not fully lithified, but we're going to call it rock.
All right. So here's the face.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. It's really a very clear line right there, too.
Can we get lasers, please?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this vertical face we're looking at is just a few meters. It looked much more massive at first.
Yeah.
But still, it's significant. You can see how the lithology changes just slightly. You can see a band of lighter colored rock, and in the foreground you can see a little bit of change. And that layer also is where it erodes backwards a little bit. And these may be indications of slight changes in the percentage of the clay particles versus the silt particles. Without samples, that's just a hypothesis. The more clay content, likely the more rigid or sticky or stiff the material is when it's compacted. Someone mentioned earlier that these look columnar, and I think that was Les Watling, I can't remember who, but I was referring to the features that you see from basalts, where basalts, when they cool from lava flows, if they're in thick sequences, they cool and they contract and form hexagonal columns.
Okay. Yeah.
They're beautiful. That's not what we're seeing here, so it's a whole different scenario.
I think it moves south.
But definitely the fracture patterns are very planar here. So you can see that
yeah, once we
squared off shape.
We can verify with watch lead, but all right, video, let's snap on this.
And this is the second one of these Paramaricia that has been facing straight down instead of sideways like most of the corals do. I don't know whether there'd be a little upwelling or something here maybe that would...
Well, certainly any current that would run into this face would move upward as well as downward and sideways, so...
Come out, video. Oh, sorry for the confusion on that, Andy.
That's okay.
There's a big slab at the base of this portion coming up. That actually looks a little different in that it's not as blocky, or that might just be the view we have of it.
Roger.
Now what's that big plate that is sitting there?
Roger.
Is this something that fell down from above?
Yeah, it might see how there's so many vertical fractures here. It might be one in between those fractures.
It looks like it should have slid further down. Looks like it would keep going.
Yeah.
Great.
The wall is so nicely decorated.
I know, the percentages are just...
Got me for about 5 minutes or so. Great. Great.